In this video, we're going to take a look at something called the convergence limit and how we can use it to calculate the first ionization energy for any element or vice versa. How we can take the first ionization energy and figure out what the convergence limit is. So let's start out with looking again at the emission spectra. So we have the emission spectra here for hydrogen, and you can see as we increase energy or frequency, the lines are going to get closer and closer together. And eventually we hit this point called the convergence limit. And that is where the lines all converge into a continuous spectrum. So what does this mean? Well, it means that after this point, after the convergence limit, the electron can have any energy. It's no longer discrete values, which means that it's free from the atom. So at the convergence limit, ionization has happened. So it's really kind of a neat concept to think about, that ionization has occurred at this specific point. So for example, for hydrogen, the spectral lines converge at a wavelength of 91.2 nanometers. And there's a few different units that you may see described for wavelengths. So we could also say that this is 9.12 times 10 to the negative 8 meters. Or we could also say it's 912 angstroms. So an angstrom is equivalent to 0.1 nanometers. So you can use any of these, and we have a couple of relationships where we can now take the wavelength and we can figure out the first ionization energy for hydrogen. Before we do that though and look at those equations, just kind of looking at our energy level diagram here for hydrogen, you can see that at our convergence limit, this is where the electrons are now ionized. So you can see that they're getting closer and closer together up here until it becomes a continuous spectrum. So we need two different equations in order to help us calculate the first ionization energy from the convergence limit wavelength or vice versa. The first equation that's going to be really helpful is the relationship between frequency and wavelength as it's related to the speed of light. So c is equal to f times lambda, or the speed of light is equal to the frequency that's given in units of seconds to the -1 or hertz, and then wavelength is going to be in meters. So usually we need to do some sort of conversion here from nanometers to meters or angstroms to meters in order to have the units in the correct format to be able to use this equation. Speed of light is given as 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, and this is a constant value. So if we had the wavelength, we could solve for the frequency, and then our second equation here also has frequency. So this is how the two are related to each other, is that if you can calculate the frequency, then you can come over here and use this second equation here, which relates the energy of a single photon of light, which is E, to a constant value called the Planck's constant, which is given as 6.63 times 10 to the negative 34 joules per second, times the frequency of light, and that would need to be in seconds to the -1 or hertz. So we can use these two equations to flip-flop back and forth between wavelength and the first ionization energy. So let's take a look at a couple of examples and see how these equations work together. Our first example is we're just going to look at the emission spectrum of hydrogen, and we know that the spectral lines converge at 91.2 nanometers. So we want to calculate the first ionization energy of hydrogen, and we want to get it in kilojoules per mole. So let's start off. We know that the speed of light is frequency times the wavelength, and we need to solve for frequency. So we're going to take speed of light divided by the wavelength. Now the speed of light is 3 times 10 to the 8. I'm just going to leave units out here because I just don't want it to get too messy, but I do know that my wavelength I need to convert from nanometers to meters. So I'm going to multiply the 91.2 times 10 to the minus 9. So that's going to give me a frequency of 3.2894 times 10 to the 15. And that's in seconds to the minus 1. So now we have frequency, we can calculate the energy using Planck's constant. So we're going to take Planck's constant, which is 6.63 times 10 to the negative 34. We're going to multiply it by this frequency here. So I'm not going to write it out, I'm just going to write F. And that, if we do that calculation, gives us 2.18, a few other digits, but I'll leave them out, times 10 to the negative 18 joules. Now this is just in joules, and this is joules per a single photon of light. So to get it into kilojoules per mole, we first need to divide by 1,000. And that's going to give us our kilojoules. And then to get it per mole, we need to multiply by Avogadro's constant. Because if you remember, Avogadro's constant is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 whatever per mole. So this is really a kilojoule per photon. But we don't write the photon in because that's kind of just, I don't know, it's weird. So we could say that we have 6.02 times 10 to the 23 photons per mole. And if you look at these and cancel out units, doing some kind of dimensional analysis, we can see we end up with kilojoules per mole. So this is why we're multiplying by Avogadro's constant here. If we do this calculation, we get 13 kilojoules per mole. But we want to put this into correct significant digits. And because we're given 3 in this question, and all we've done is multiply or divide throughout the problem, I'm going to put it into 1.31 times 10 to the 3 kilojoules per mole. Okay. So that's our first example. So if we went and now looked up what the first ionization energy of hydrogen is in the periodic table, this should be the same value, which it is. So that is awesome. Let's look at one more example. We're going to go backwards now. So we're going to take the first ionization energy of sodium, which is 496 kilojoules per mole. And if you were to look this up in any data table, including the IB data booklet, that is what you would find on the periodic table. So we want to calculate the wavelength of convergence for the sodium atom spectrum. So we're going to work our way backwards. Right now we have an energy of 496 kilojoules per mole. And so to get that into joules per photon, we're going to divide by Avogadro's constant, and we're going to multiply by 1,000 this time. So we're basically doing the reverse of the last example. So if we do both of those, we get 8.2392 times 10 to the minus 19 joules. So make sure you're doing that calculation and you're getting the same number. You can always pause the video and then come back to it. Okay, so we know that energy is Planck's constant times frequency, and we have energy, we have Planck's constant, so we need to solve for the frequency. So we're going to do energy divided by Planck's constant. So let's just write this out again here. 8.2392 times 10 to the negative 19. And divided by 6.63 times 10 to the negative 34. That gives us a frequency of 1.2427 times 10 to the 15 seconds to the negative 1. Okay, we have frequency now, we need wavelength, so we are going to use our relationship where we know the speed of light is equal to frequency times the wavelength. So to solve for wavelength, we're going to do C over F. So that's 3 times 10 to the 8 divided by this frequency here. So 1.2427 times 10 to the 15. And this gives us a wavelength of 2.41 times 10 to the negative 7 meters. We have three significant digits, so 3 sig digs for our answer makes sense because all we're doing is multiplying and dividing. You could leave the answer here in meters, but most of the time we report wavelengths in nanometers, so I'm just going to convert this by multiplying it by 1 times 10 to the 9. So that would give us 241 nanometers, and it just looks prettier. So that's how you use these equations to convert between the convergence limit wavelength and the first ionization energy. You can go either way. That's it then for this video. We'll see you in the next one.